having faith is not for the weak. In fact, you gotta be a little crazy to have faith because you're believing in something you can't see with your human eyes. That's technically crazy. Some might say you're hallucinating, you're delusional. The average person has this "I'll believe it when I see it" mindset. But that's not faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, which means even though you can't see it with your physical eyes, it's not currently in your reality. You see it with your spiritual eye. And you know that God is going to come through, even though your current reality is showing you the complete opposite. That's faith. If you claim you believe in God, but you don't believe in his power, you're no different than an atheist, respectfully. But atheists don't believe either. So you might believe God exists, but you don't really believe in him. You don't really have faith in him. And faithfulness is one of the fruits of the Spirit. If we want anything from God, that is one of his requirements, is for us to have faith in him, for us to believe in him. There's a scripture that says, anything you ask for in prayer, believe you have received it and it will be yours, which means you have to believe that it's already yours before it technically is in the physical realm. That is technically some crazy shit, but it's spiritual. And that's God's way, to believe that once you pray for something, it's already done. You just waiting for it to appear in the physical realm, but it's already done in the spiritual. Last year, I had this crazy dream where I was on this shuttle bus with a bunch of other people, and people kept getting on and off the bus. The bus driver was letting people get off, letting people get back on. But anytime I asked him if I could get off the bus, he would always have an excuse. He would always say no. So I started panicking. In my mind, in the dream, I was panicking because I'm like, this dude is not going to let me off this bus. He is up to something. And he had a very dark, demonic look in his eyes. And as soon as I had that thought, he's not going to let me off this bus, an angel came and swooped in and got me off the bus. So when the angel got me off the bus, she asked me, do you know why the devil doesn't want to let you go? And I was like, no. I was confused. And she grabs my hand and she was like, come here, I want to show you something. And we started walking somewhere. And then I woke up from the dream. God is so petty. I'm like, why wouldn't you let me finish the dream? But I feel like that was God's way of letting me know the enemy is going to keep trying to attack you because he knows where I'm about to take you, what I'm about to do in your life. So along this journey, expect for him to constantly attack you. And that's what's been happening this past year and a half. And here's how you know when the enemy is trying to attack you. When fear starts to creep in. When worry starts to creep in, when doubt and anxiety starts to creep in, you start questioning if God is even listening. You start questioning if God is even real. You start having thoughts of, well, it's a bunch of people praying. What makes me think God is going to answer my prayer? What makes me think God is going to do that for me? That is the enemy. Don't ever be fooled into thinking that this is God talking to you, but also don't be fooled into thinking that these are your own thoughts and that since you're having these thoughts, they must be true. That is the enemy. And he is very clever at how he disguises himself as your voice. And I know in the world we live in today is so much doom and gloom, so much negativity, the recession, inflation, the presidential election, grocery prices, gas prices, rent prices. It's like it's so much fear constantly being pumped into us. And that's another thing. You have to be careful about what you consuming, what you watching, what you listening to, because that can either make or break your faith too. No matter how much craziness is going on in the world, your faith has to be in God. The reason why you're so worried and stressed out is because your faith is in the government. Your faith is in the economy. Your faith is in the president. Your faith is in your job. And that's the reason why you tripping. It's because your faith is in things that can fail you at any given moment. But God will never fail you. And I'm not just telling you what you want to hear. It's no fluff. I'm speaking from my heart and I'm speaking from experience. I thought that when I surrendered to God and I gave my life to God, everything was just going to be peaches and cream, rainbows and butterflies. But it wasn't long before I realized, oh shoot, I'm about to be in the wilderness. Like, I got to go through hell before I get to heaven. I did not realize the process God was going to take me through. But I can honestly say throughout this process, throughout this journey, my faith is stronger than it's ever been, even though I've lost so much this year. I've had to surrender and give up so much this year. But ironically, my faith is even stronger now. And God did that intentionally. It's easy to have faith when things are going your way, but when they're not, that is the true test. And God is going to make you put your money where your mouth is. I know firsthand, at the beginning of this year, I thought my faith was so strong. I had all the answers. I had everything figured out. But shit started hitting the fan left and right. Like, from the beginning of the year, it was one thing after another. He was literally stripping me of everything I was subconsciously having my faith in. But I was disguising it as me having faith in God. I had a certain amount saved. I ain't gonna say the number, but I had a lot of money saved. And I thought, oh, I have so much faith in God, until that money started dropping. And I ain't gonna lie, at first, I was panicking. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna run out of money. I gotta hold on to it. But then God had to check me. Like, Kyla, I thought you said you have faith in me. Oh, so you was really putting your faith in the money. So God had to remind me, He is the money as long as I put Him first and I trust Him. And I believe in His ability and His willingness to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to deliver. Like, we be putting human limitations on a limitless God. Like, we be acting like He is not the creator. Like, the things that we feel are just so impossible are so hard for Him, when it's not. He just has to take us through a process, as much as we might not like it. And trust me, I don't like it. I've been very transparent and vocal about the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of God's process, but I trust it and I'm grateful for it because I know He know what He doing. So just relax, enjoy the ride. Why are you in such a rush? Who are you racing? Just trust God's timing and trust God's plan. Even when you don't understand, even when things don't make sense, even when you can't see how He's going to do it. That's where faith comes in. You have to walk by faith and not by sight. Sight is being able to figure out how God is going to do it. That's not faith. Faith is, Lord, I don't know how the heck you going to pull this off, but I know you can, and I believe you will. And stop sharing things with people who don't have faith, even if they claim they believe in God. If they're one of those, I gotta see it to believe it ass ninjas, excuse my language, but I need to get my point across. If they're that type of person, don't even tell them stuff, because all they're gonna do is tell you that's not realistic and discourage you and make you feel like you crazy for having faith in God, even though they claim they believe in God too. And while you're waiting, listen to other people's testimonies. That's going to help you keep your faith strong too, hearing what God has done for others, because it's just a reminder that He can do it for you too. I'm constantly brainwashing myself with positivity all day, every day. And that's what helps me keep my faith strong, because I refuse to entertain doom and gloom, because that's not the God that I serve. Give yourself pep talks, give yourself speeches about how good and real God is. This is what I do on a regular basis because I know that the enemy hates it. He hates it when he's trying to attack me and put all these worrisome thoughts in my mind. And instead of giving in to him, I immediately start speaking against them out loud and saying, nah, I don't believe that. God can make anything happen. I'm not falling for that. If you need one-on-one help, check out my website, www.coachwithkai.com. I would love to work with you. And yeah, I love you guys. I pray this message blessed you. If it did, make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.